So let's understand the difference between the user initiated and the triggered first. So the name says user initiated. It means the user, it means developer is initiating the send. So if we'll talk about any promotional email or maybe any informative email. So for example, we are having a new product launch and we want to inform about this to all our customers that this is the product that we are launching, or maybe there is a Christmas sale or Diwali sale that we want to inform, right? So if it is initiating by us, if it is initiated by the campaign manager, the developer, or maybe the company, right? So customer is not asking for these emails, we are sending these emails from our side. Now versus the trigger send. So trigger send are those emails which are initiated by the customer. So if we'll talk about a password reset email, right, or a OTP email, or maybe any kind of transactional email or a triggered email in which the customer is initiating the actually customer initiating the send. So these are called the triggered sends. So these are the differences by functionality, or like what are differences from a user perspective. But technically, if we look at it, so in interactions, we have this user initiated emails and the triggered emails. So user initiated emails we will cover in detail when we'll talk about the automation studio, because there we will see like how we can develop our user initiated email and the triggered email. So for this, we would need API. So in the in the upcoming sessions, we will be talking about the triggered emails, and then there we will see that how you can use the API to make a triggered call, or to make to execute the triggered email. Okay, but I hope you understood the functionality wise difference, that the user initiated email is always email that is initiated by us, okay, and not the user, like not the end user, not the customer, and the trigger send is always initiated by the customer. And then we have a Salesforce send. Okay, we don't have the Salesforce send available over here, but Salesforce send is generally used to send the tracking data back to Salesforce. So what happens when we have this system, Marketing Cloud and then the Salesforce, both systems are integrated with each other. Now, in that case, if we are sending an email to a Salesforce contact, so what does that mean? We have a Salesforce system, and in which we have, a lot of contacts. These are the customers, and now each contact has this contact ID or a contact key. So that is a unique identifier of a contact. In Marketing Cloud, we have subscribers, and subscriber has a unique identifier called subscriber key and the subscriber ID. Similarly, in Salesforce, a contact has a unique identifier called contact key. Now, if we are sending email to a contact using that contact key, and that to a Salesforce send. So Salesforce send is not a special send, or is not a different send. What happens since this account is not integrated, we are not able to see the Salesforce send over here. But what generally happens is that we have that folder over here for the Salesforce send. Whatever the email we have developed, we can put that into that folder, and then we can just trigger this Salesforce send. Um, okay, I don't have the screenshots also. Okay, so basically what happens that this is how we are configuring guided send and test send, and then all these sends. Similarly, we have to create one Salesforce send. We have to choose the email message, the target audience, and everything, and then we will send the email. But now how Marketing Cloud is going to identify that, okay, this is the contact, or this is the same subscriber uh, whose respective contact exists in Salesforce as well, with the help of the contact key. So that is a thing. Okay. So don't worry about the Salesforce send as of now. We'll be mainly focusing on these four sends: guided send, test send, and then the user initiated and the triggered one. Okay, let's talk about the personalization string now. So personalization is strings. So as the name says, we are going to personalize the email message, right? So you must have seen the email whenever you receive from any of the organization, they generally have these personalized messages or personalization, you know, greetings, something like that. Okay, hi, and then the name of the customer or maybe our order number. So whatever, like it is exclusive to that particular customer, it means it is personalized. So it is not a general communication. The message contains some personalization. So if we place an order on Amazon.com and we receive this communication and it says that hi customer name, and then it says that okay, your order number is this. So the order number is always exclusive to a customer who has placed this order, right? So the same order number will not show in any other email message. And then like the order or details or something like that. So these are the personalized emails because these are exclusive to that particular customer only. So how we can make our email message personalized? So this is very easy. We will just quickly look at it. So in order to make an email message a personalized one, we have to use the personalization strings. Now, how do we identify or how do we write a personalization string? So the identification of the personalization string is by so we have these two percentage signs followed by a string and then followed by two percentage signs. So we have two types of personalization strings. One is the system and another one is the user defined. Now what happens is that we have some profile attributes and we have some other attributes as well. So Marketing Cloud says that okay, if you want to personalize, I'm giving you some of the personalization strings that you can use in your email message to personalize it. So this is so this is the profile attributes that we can use, and we can make the email message personalized. So for example, if I want to include the email address or maybe if I want to include a gender of the subscriber in the email, right? Or if I want to use marital status or maybe a salutation or maybe the location, right? So sorry. Okay. So you just have to click on the personalization button and then it will add the location over here. So these are profile attributes. So we have already discussed about the profile attributes. So you can go through once. Okay. So we have the complete list over here. Um, So this is the complete list. So it says that if you want to include the full name of the month in the email, we can do that, right? So if you want to show that, okay, your order, like you have placed the order in this month, right? And we want to show the month dynamically. So let's say if I'm sending this email in this month, it will show in today's um, like what is the month, current month, and then maybe if I'll send the next month, so it will show the next month. So we have the personalization strings for these things. So we'll be talking about few frequently used, like which are frequently used. And then you can go through all the personalization strings and let me know if you face any issues. So the one thing is that we have profile attributes, that we can create, and then we can personalize with the help of that as well. The another thing is that these are the system personalization strings, which are given by the system. Okay, so we'll have to use this way only. So for example, if I'll copy this thing, and paste it over here and do the preview and test. What will happen? It will show me the current month. Okay, so it is showing me May as a month in which the email is being sent. So first one is we can use the profile attributes or the preference attributes. The another way is that we can use the strings given by the system. Now, third way to personalize is this. Using personalization string is by using the field in the data extension. So right now, when I do the preview and test, I am selecting this data extension for the preview, right? This is a data extension. I want to personalize with the customer ID. So I want to say that your customer ID is this, right? So, and for each customer, it will be different. So I want to say your customer ID is, and then double percentage signs, and then I'll have to, sorry, customer ID, and I'll do the, sorry, I have misspelled it. So it says there is no field by the name customer ID because we have used double S. Okay, so it says your customer ID is B4005, right? So we are using this particular subscriber for the preview, right? When we move on to the next subscriber, it says 4004, right? So when we will be sending this email to, let's say, 100 subscribers, 200 different subscribers, then this particular customer ID will change dynamically based on the subscriber. So if you want to personalize, we have three different ways. We can use the profile and preference attributes. We can use the system strings, and then we can also use the fields that we have in our data extension. Generally, we use the fields that we have in our data extension, and we don't rely on the profile attributes. Okay, so we can personalize it with the first name that hi, something that hello. Let's say hello, and then first name. Your order has been placed, and your order number is something. Your order number is this. So it is something like that. Okay, so this is how we can personalize the email, and it is just not limited to the body of the email message, but we can also do the same thing in the subject line, in the pre-header, wherever we want to write. We can do that. So in subject line also, so in subject line also, we can use the personalization strings. Here we have also this symbol, or maybe if you want to just include, you can do that. In pre-header also, you can write the. So in subject line, pre-header, body, wherever you want to write, you can do that.